speaker today is Mr. Roger S. Green. Mr. Green is the president and CEO of Green Financial Resources in Duluth. He has been helping people with their investment and financial planning for almost 35 years now. Roger holds a Master of Science in Financial Services and numerous professional designations, such as Certified Financial Planner, Retirement Income Certified Professional, among others. Mr. Green has received numerous awards throughout his career. Green Financial was voted a Gwinnett Magazine Best of Gwinnett each of the past 8 years and has won the Gwinnett Chamber Small Business of the Year Award twice. Roger resides in Snowville with his wife Laura. He and Laura are the proud parents of 6 beautiful, now adult children and 7 gorgeous granddaughters and 1 grandson. Roger has provided time, talent, and monetary support to numerous other charity and community causes through the years in his focus to give back to his community. He received a Gwinnett Chamber Public Service Award in 2018 for his work in the community, and in 2021 won a $50,000 donation to his favorite charity as the winner of the National Invest in Others Community Service Award. Now let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Roger Green.
Thank you, Isabella. What a fabulous job. She has a future, no doubt. And everybody up here that did the speaking, what an amazing job. I want to give first just gratefulness to Rod James. What a great guy. I tell you what, I don't know if you know this about this system. Not only is he a great human being, just a beacon of who to be like, but I don't know if you know this about the system financially. If he wanted to retire 2 years ago and work part-time, half-time, and instead of full-time, he can make just as much money. Just as much money. He's working twice as many hours a week for your kids so he could do this program and to be with them more. Isn't that cool? The same for man. What a great job. Awesome. We need more Rod James in the world, no doubt about that. Anyway, so thank you so much. A couple of the things each of the students should definitely put down as things that they should do is, in addition to the knowledge that they learn, number one is be a lifelong student about this issue. This is a really important issue. And one of my clients, Dr. Betty Siegel, who ran Smith South College, took her to a very small college, I was going to be college. Her husband got his law degree at like 7. So she really committed to this. And what she said was, if you spend 15 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be a lot, 15 to 30 minutes a day on a subject, that after a few years you're going to become incredibly well versed in it. And after about 5 or 10 years, almost nobody will know that you'll ever run into will know as much as you. It doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. So keep up learning about this. I'd say just one book a year, one thing a year that you just add to your repertoire of things that you know about this. If you want some ideas of what to read next, I'd be happy to give you some things. A couple of things about the debt that they learn to stay away from. Obviously, there's a couple of things that are important and kind of required. And we call it debt, but it's not necessarily debt. Like, for instance, a business asset or buying a house. A house is a mortgage debt. It's not actually debt, it's an installment purchase because you have an asset value that's greater than the debt. So it's most important to not take on a debt that you can't pay. That's important. Secondly, it's very important to look at assets that you get for your debt as opposed to going into debt for an experience or for something else. Sometimes you may have to go into debt for a certification or something related to business or learning how to do your career. That's okay. Just be careful about it and make sure you do an evaluation of the value of that and what people that have gotten that have gotten to do with that investment. But think of it more of an investment. But it's very, very important, and I think one of the students said to be very careful. And I think that's really important about debt is to be very, very careful about it. But one of the things you can do as a young person is you can actually have a Roth IRA with your very first job. You can do a custodial Roth at any age if you make some money. So if you work for Chick-fil-A, you do a little something on the side, or you work for your family business, that's a great way to do it. You can actually make and save up to $6,500 a year, and that money is available at any time for any reason without taxes up to the principal that you put in. You The earnings just have to be left in there until you're, roughly 60 years old in order to be able to take it out tax-free. But the principal is available at any time for any reason without any penalty. So don't hesitate to go ahead and do a Roth, even if you might not feel like you'd be able to keep it forever. At least you might be able to, so that things could go well. And that compounds tax-free for the rest of your life, plus 10 years after you're dead. You can also have a uniform transfer minor account. You can have just sort of an after-tax account. And capital gains is tax-free for the first 2 tax brackets. What that means is somebody could be making almost $60,000 a year and not pay any capital gains tax at all. So if your parents or grandparents want to help out a student and they're going to college and want to do something when they get really good grades, or if they get a degree or whatever, and you want to help them with it, you can transfer something that you've been saving in your name that has a gain associated with it through a letter. You write a letter, don't sell it, and you transfer it to them, then they sell it, and there's no taxes. They don't pay any taxes, but it's a part of their income, which will help them to qualify for an apartment so you don't have to co-sign, or a car so you don't have to co-sign, or something like that. So one of the best college plans is to keep the money in your name, accumulated until they're actually have deserved the money, and then gift it to them through a note and let them sell it so that they have some gain in the bracket. Just a couple other things, of course, when they first get their first job, make sure they start immediately saving. It's really actually a lot easier to start saving when you're very, very young because you're not used to having the money. So I recommend that at age 20, you should save 20% of everything you have from that point forward. If you do, you won't have to save more than that later, but it's very important to just save, to give 10, because giving, I tell you what, there's a blessing for giving that just is amazing. So you'll be more blessed in your life to give 10%, but then also save at least 20%. So that's extremely important in my life. It's been very important, both of those things, saving and giving. And if you do the saving and giving, then the rest of the money you can spend rather guilt-free because you know that you're saving what you need. Now, it's very important not to just save in the bank, even though the bank is going to get interest now, at least some of them. But it's very important to invest in businesses. Businesses are the only adaptable asset class across all of the major countries. I don't know if you know this, but businesses have been trading for over 900 years. So you could own businesses even before that, they didn't trade on exchanges, but you can own publicly traded stocks. Now, the cool thing is, I know Rod wanted me to emphasize that there's a lot of stress that everybody's under right now, and people are very pessimistic about the markets in general and the world and the economy and everything else. We're not actually in that bad of a place. What I think puts us in a bad place is our cell phones. People are getting this constant drip of negativity because negativity, sells. It gets people's attention and it gets people to turn. They have a term for it called doom scrolling. So don't do the doom scrolling, because if you scroll a little bit and read one, and before long, that's all you see is the negative news. Because they'll learn your artificial intelligence will learn your feed and realize that you're buying into all that. So worry is interest that's paid on a debt that they never come due. You don't want to be caught up in the debt. You want to be thinking about the lifetime that you have ahead of you. So one of the things, we're a free country, one of the few countries that's allowed to do pretty much whatever we want to with our money. So one of the things you want to do is own, and I don't believe you should buy, the S&P 500 index, but there are ways to buy all the stocks out there that are in the U.S. and the world. And I think you should be divvied up about half and half, about half in the rest of the world and about half in the U.S. And I think you should emphasize small companies, value companies. Values are companies that have earnings now and that have assets now. This will help you if there's inflation, because value stocks have a tendency to do incredibly well if there's inflation. Remember, you can't pay more for something without somebody on the other side collecting more. And the harder the landscape is out there, the economy, the higher the interest rates, the more things get difficult to start a new business. Guess what? Existing businesses are advantaged by that. It's like a moat built around existing businesses. So right now, people have, it's unbelievable, millennials, people under 45 have more money in cash in deposit accounts than they do in stocks for the first time ever. We've never had a generation that young that's that pessimistic. So it's incredible. You need to get ahead of the curve and be fully invested all the time with any money you have, at least 5 years before you need the money. So it's very important. Have faith. My faith has been very important to me. My faith has been the most important thing in my life. And I think if you have faith and confidence, remember, a coward dies about 1,000 deaths. A brave person only once. So be it. If there is volatility in the world, and there are some downturns, there's never been a period of time that you could buy all the stocks and the next 20% move is unknowable, but the next 100% move has been inexorable. One single dollar, the small company value stocks that I talked about, if you bought it in 1926, one single dollar is up over 200,000 times the money. And it hasn't spent a single decade with less than 10% a year return since 1940s. 1940s was a 10% a year return, it was 1930s. So since the Great Depression, we haven't had a decade, even 2000 to 2010, it was a decade that you had 2009. You had 10.5% a year return with that. So small companies in the stock market aren't the same thing as mom and pop grocery stores. So you're not buying the local lemonade stand. The smallest stock on the exchanges is about $200 to $500 million size company. So anyway, so that's, I don't want to be too boring, but I do want to tell you, it's a lot better than people are telling you it is out there. We have very low unemployment, there are jobs for people. Companies are the only adaptable asset class, and they can adapt to the situation. And you know, if things are tough, then they can cut costs a little bit, people can work a little bit harder. And I'm telling you, the next 100% is next year will be up. And I think it'll be up in the next 6 years. So I think we're going to have a really nice run. The last 8 years have been unbelievably volatile. We've had 4 bear markets in 8 years. That's 20 years worth of bear markets. So you usually have a period of tumultuous, tempest, and then you have a period of calm, and that's how you get an average. So over time, I think you're going to be really blessed by staying fully invested. So get your money invested. Any money you don't need for more than 5 years, stay fully invested. Be about half and half in the U.S. and international, and put an emphasis on small and value. And then make an emphasis on continuing to learn. That's the most important thing you can do. And get an account. It helps your credit rating a lot to get an account and have an account from earlier. So get a bank account, even if you put $100 in it. Get an investment account, even if you put $100 in it. We don't have any minimums. We'll get people started at any amount. And you know, you actually get the best value if you have a small account, because if you put in a $6,500 Roth, you're paying less than $100 a year for our team, for financial planning, for access to software to help you live toward your retirement, for help with your 401k and other things like that. That's a much better value than somebody that has $1 million and they're paying us, you know, $1,000 a month or whatever. So you're getting a much better deal, $100 a year. You know, so anyway, avail yourself of the opportunity to get a mentor, to get, you know, to get with a program. Either read it yourself or you know, get involved with somebody that can help. Anyway, I just want to thank you, and I want to thank you parents that have been involved, because it doesn't happen without your involvement, obviously. So thank you all, and you guys should be thankful for your parents, and thankful for Rod Haynes, and thankful for also the principal that allows us to do this program. I mean, again, a lot of places don't let us talk about faith and money in the same place. So anyway, I appreciate you all, and again, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to stay after.